Hey guys, welcome to the last of the integration techniques that we're going to go through for this course. Um, we have looked at using the substitution method to integrate more basic terms, but this is using substitution to integrate some potentially harder products and quotients. Okay, so having a look at this first example here. Obviously, the substitution we've done to start with has more been let u equal that 3x plus 1, and when we differentiate that, we would get something that would cancel out with this x, but this doesn't in this particular case. So this is where the harder substitution comes in. So what we're going to use is that u there is going to be substituted in for there. We've still got this x here, so what are we going to do with the x? Well, what we're going to do is we're actually going to say u minus 1 is 3x, and therefore u minus 1 over 3 is x. We're going to make x the subject of that formula, so that what we can do is we can substitute that x in for there. So we've got that substituting into there. In other words, what I'm going to integrate is u minus 1 over 3 times u squared times dx at the moment. Hopefully that makes sense, but obviously it's hopefully confusing at the same time, because that there we can't integrate with respect to x when we've got u's there. So what we need to do here is say, well, again, a third du is dx. So now what we're going to do is change that dx to be a third du. So what we're going to have is a third u minus 1 over 3 times u squared du. That's what we're going to integrate. Now, hopefully you can see a bit of this is actually there's another common factor of a third, so we can take that out the front as well. And we're going to end up integrating that statement there, which when I expand is going to become a ninth u to the power of 3 minus u squared with respect to u. Now, hopefully that integration, isn't too tricky. That's going to become a ninth u to the power of 4 over 4 minus u to the power of 3 over 3 plus that c. And because u is 3x plus 1, what we've got is 3x plus 1 to the power of 4 over 36 minus 3x plus 1 to the power of 3 over 27 plus c. Now there's a lot involved there, okay? You need to make sure that you are differentiating with respect to the correct letter. You need to decide what you're going to let u equal to start with, okay? And then you need to rearrange this u to make x the subject of the formula so you can substitute the other one. Having a look at example 2, this one looks a bit trickier as well. But what we're going to say is we're going to say u is equal to the square root of x plus 1. Hopefully that makes sense, because that's the most complicated part of that. We need to say, well, this dx, so du by dx is, oh, that's tricky. Well, let's ignore that for a moment and come back to that later. There's a little tip later. So at the moment we've got that part. What we need to do is we need to make x the subject of the formula. So let's make that. Let's square both sides. And now we're going to take 1 off both sides, and we've got x equals u squared minus 1. Because now what we can do here, if we park that du by dx from up here, that's going to get complicated. But dx by du here is actually just 2u, which is much easier, because now what we can do is we can substitute dx in for 2u du which is all the same letters. Now hopefully that all makes sense, okay? So that x is u squared minus 1. That minus 1 is still there, and that part there is u. So that's going to be all over u. And what are we doing? We're integrating that. But remember, we're integrating with respect to x, so this dy dx is going to turn into 2u du. Whoa, that looks hard. So let's try and consolidate some of this stuff, okay? Let's go u squared minus 2 over u times 2u du. So let's times all that, so it's going to be 2u cubed minus 4u over u with respect to u. And now we can cancel that u on the top with 1 on the bottom. So now what we're ultimately trying to integrate is 2u squared minus 4 with respect to u, which we can do because that's just going to become 2u cubed over 3 minus 4u plus c. Remembering that u is this part up here. So 2 lots of x plus 1 to the power of 3 over 3 minus 4 lots of x plus 1 plus c. Now, that looks quite confusing. Okay, and I get that, but hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. Especially if we have a crack at some of these questions in exercise 2009. You might feel like you've got to do a few more questions than you have in the past. Remember, have a go at those exercises and let me know if you have any problems.